giving them the help that they need and deserve, we put them in charge. They're literally running the show. And as my brother, who raised 2 daughters as a single dad, often told my nieces when there was a situation like this, hey, that may not be your fault, but it is your problem. Mm-hmm. And I think that we have to actually acknowledge that we have a problem here. Sociopaths are running this country. And frankly, y'all, it's our fault. We have actually allowed this to happen. We have not collectively built the power together to actually create the peaceful, loving, just, compassionate society that we need. And I want to remind you that this whole little rant started around the aqueduct system. Mm-hmm. And guess what? That aqueduct was built, designed, and operated as a corporation. Likewise, the first universities, the first hospitals, can you guess? Corporation. Pop quiz, y'all. What is a road system, a water system, a university, a hospital? What do they all have in common? Who or what do they serve?
The public.
The public. At the core, the concept originally of a corporation was to create a legal mechanism to facilitate, encourage, and incentivize the creation of mechanisms to do public good with private resources. As a lawyer, 2 things to remember and come away so far. Number 1, a corporation originally was just a mechanism to facilitate public good. Number 2, a corporation is an artificial entity created under the political cultural process, and we actually have the authority to define what it can or cannot do, right? So, the problem is the corporation is now entitled to claim constitutional rights. And as a civil libertarian, I'm going to tell you right now, every human being has inherent and inalienable constitutional rights that are not subject to the political process. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That includes Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That includes Jerry Falwell. Think of the most repugnant, reprehensible human being that you can think of, and I, as a civil libertarian, will say that that person has inherent and inalienable rights that are recognized, not created by the Constitution, but recognized by the Constitution, and it is inappropriate to actually have laws to suppress their ability to speak, their ability to worship or not worship as they choose, their ability to associate with who they want. My commitment to the concept of human constitutional rights is absolute. But here's the kicker. That's because human beings have hearts and minds and consciousness. And our rights, our inherent rights as human beings, are not subject to the political process. But a corporation is only created by the political process. A corporation, as an entity and a tool, can have no inherent and inalienable rights. They have no heart, no mind, no conscience. They're a tool. It is a mistake whenever the court allows them to claim constitutional rights. Because remember, if you are claiming a constitutional right violation, what you're actually doing is going into court to argue that some law, local, county, state, or even federal law, is an illegitimate exercise of the political power because your rights are not subject to the majoritarian will or the political process. Corporations should never be able to do that. What a corporation can or cannot do is inherently a political decision, and those should be made through the political process, right? The second concept is to abolish the equally odious, also court-created idea that money is First Amendment protected political speech. This outrageous idea was created by, and here's the thing for people who think, oh no, we have to have Democrats because of the Supreme Court, by Democrat Lewis Powell on the Supreme Court, who actually created this idea as the author of the Buckley versus Vallejo decision and its progeny of cases, and Virginia versus Board of Pharmacy, and all of these cases. So this idea that somehow Democrats save us from corporate power at the Constitution is a damn lie. At the end of the day, what I believe we need to do is to assert our independent political expression of abolishing both corporate constitutional rights and money as speech. Are y'all with us on this one?
Yes.
All right. I told you I was going to give you about 15, 20 minutes. So here's what I'm going to do now. All right, how are we doing? Good. So here's what we're going to do. I am now going to pass out the brochure of Move to Men. Please take one and pass it back. We're going to do a short, say 10 to 15 minutes of sharp questions.